Most people treat thirst like a helpful reminder. The body runs low, the signal appears, and then a glass of water fixes the problem. But hydration is stranger than that. By the time thirst becomes obvious, the body may already be protecting itself from a small shortage. That matters more during hot weeks, long days indoors, travel, exercise, or any time your body is losing fluid in ways you do not notice. Hydration is not just about feeling parched. It is about keeping a narrow internal balance stable while life keeps disturbing it. The better question is not simply, are you drinking enough water? It is this: why can you be short on water before your brain tells you to drink? And what does that change about hydration? Inside the body, water is not a passive liquid. It is the medium where cellular work happens. Chemical reactions, nutrient movement, waste removal, temperature control, nerve signaling, and muscle contraction all depend on fluid being in the right place. This is why generic advice can miss the point. The human body is roughly 40 to 60% water, but that water is not spread evenly. Muscle tissue is about 75% water. Fat tissue holds much less, around 25%. So two people can weigh the same and still have different fluid needs. Body composition, heat adaptation, activity, metabolic rate, sweat pattern, medication, and environment can all change the equation. Dehydration does not usually announce itself all at once. In the early stage, around 1 to 2% body water loss, people may notice more fatigue, lower alertness, darker urine, and slower mental processing. It can feel ordinary enough to blame on stress or tiredness. As loss moves into the moderate range, roughly 2 to 5%, the effects become easier to measure. Physical performance drops, temperature control becomes harder, blood volume falls, and short-term memory or visual perception may start to suffer. Beyond about 5% fluid loss, the story becomes medically serious. Temperature regulation can fail, raising the risk of heat exhaustion or heat stroke. Blood can become thicker, circulation becomes harder, and clot risk becomes a more important concern. That is why fluid balance and electrolytes belong in the same conversation. Sweat removes water, but it also carries minerals such as sodium, potassium, and chloride. Those minerals help cells maintain the electrical balance needed for muscles, nerves, and cooling. Now, the awkward part. Thirst is useful, but it is not early. The feeling tends to appear after blood concentration has changed and blood volume has started to fall. In plain language, the alarm can ring after the shortage has begun. The technical triggers are plasma hyperosmolality, meaning the blood becomes more concentrated, and hypovolemia, meaning blood volume drops. Those words sound clinical, but the image is simple. The internal fluid pool is becoming more crowded and smaller. This helps explain why waiting for thirst can be a poor strategy, especially for older adults. Studies show healthy, older people can have a reduced thirst response after water deprivation compared with younger people. There is another strange detail. Feeling wet on the skin can change hydration behavior. After sweating, that sensation may linger even after core temperature changes. The body can feel cooled on the surface while still needing fluid replacement inside. Water also leaves through routes people rarely count. Every breath carries moisture out of the lungs. Dry rooms, heated buildings, cold air, high altitude, and faster breathing can increase that invisible loss. Sweat rate is personal too. Genetics, body size, surface area, fitness, climate adaptation, temperature, and humidity all affect how much fluid someone loses. Two people doing the same activity can leave with different hydration problems. Metabolism adds another layer. The article points to a useful estimate. About 1.5 milliliters of fluid for each calorie of energy expenditure. It is not a personal prescription, but it shows why larger, more active, or more metabolically demanding bodies often need more fluid. After significant exercise loss, the article gives another practical marker. About 1.5 liters of fluid per kilogram of body weight lost can support more complete rehydration. The extra amount matters because losses continue while the body is recovering. This is where heat waves become important. Heat, activity, air conditioning, alcohol, high salt foods, travel, and some medications can stack losses together. The body does not experience them as separate tips. It experiences one combined fluid challenge. Official intake figures can still be useful. Common reference values are around 2.7 liters of total fluid per day for women and 3.7 liters for men. But these are starting points, not magic targets for every body in every condition. A more useful approach is to watch patterns. Morning urine color is a practical clue because, overnight, fasting reduces the influence of recent food and drinks. Pale yellow usually points towards better hydration, while darker color suggests the body is conserving water. That clue is not perfect. Supplements, some foods, medications, and illness can change urine color, but as a low-tech daily signal, it can be more useful than waiting until thirst becomes loud. Hydration also does not have to mean plain water only. Food can provide around 20% of daily water intake. Fruit, vegetables, soups, milk, tea, coffee, and other drinks can all contribute to total fluid intake. Tea and coffee are often treated as if they cancel hydration because they have mild diuretic effects. The more careful reading is different. For most people, they still contribute positively to fluid balance when consumed in ordinary amounts. Electrolyte drinks can be useful in the right context, especially after heavy sweating or prolonged activity. But that does not make every colorful bottle necessary for ordinary daily hydration. The context decides whether water, food, or minerals are the missing piece. The article also points to wider health evidence, but the strength is not equal everywhere. The clearest protective pattern is around adequate fluid intake and lower kidney stone risk. Links with gallstones, colon cancer, and clot risk during air travel are worth noting, but they should be treated as weaker or still developing associations. The fair takeaway is narrower and stronger. Water supports the systems that make health possible. It helps maintain the conditions for thinking, cooling, circulation, cellular work, and movement. But hydration advice has to respect the person, the environment, and the level of loss. So, the better map is simple, but not simplistic. Do not make thirst the only signal. Notice heat, activity, dry air, urine color, sweat loss, age, and total fluid intake. Hydration is less about chasing a perfect number and more about keeping the body from quietly drifting into deficit. For the full article and supporting references, use the link in the description. BeSund will keep the story careful, what water clearly does, where the evidence is still developing, and why a simple habit can still have complex biology behind it.